This is a fan-generated show. If you would like to support us, please go to jamieglazov.com, and also don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. All your support is greatly appreciated.
There's a new book that just came out. If you've been following our page, you know about it. It's called Jihadi Psychopath by Dr. Jamie Glazov. I will tell you, as an expert on Sharia, as a former child bride who has suffered and faced my own jihadi psychopath, I want you to go and order this book on Amazon.com or go to jamieglazov.com. Get a copy for yourself. You know why? Because you need to be equipped with the knowledge to fight our enemies so you can save your daughters and your granddaughters from future of Islam. They don't have to face what I did. Go to Amazon.com and order your copy of Jihadi Psychopath by Dr. Jamie Glazov.
Good evening. Welcome to the Jamie Glazov Moment. Tonight, Facebook and Twitter consult with CAIR. Leading social media sites are now asking Hamas-linked group who should get banned from their platforms. Ladies and gentlemen, this is really no surprise, but the way that our culture is going, everything that's happening in our Western civilization. But we got to keep a track on it and just see this disaster unfolding. And a reminder to us of how we have to stand up against this evil and against the West's surrender to Islamic blasphemy laws. Facebook and Twitter are now Sharia compliant. And you got to remember, this bleeds in to the rest of what's happening in our society. Now, Twitter recently warned me, for instance, that I'm violating Pakistan's Islamic blasphemy laws by posting about my new book, Jihadi Psychopath. Now, it's very interesting. You know, Pakistan's upset about my book violating Islamic blasphemy laws, and Twitter's telling me about it, you know, carrying water for Islamic blasphemy laws. It's just Kafkaesque, if that's one word to use. Now, we know that Facebook's Vice President Joel Kaplan traveled to Pakistan in July 2017 to assure the Pakistani government that Facebook would remove, quote, anti-Islam material. I mean, really? We know that both Facebook and Twitter are banning heroes and freedom fighters and civil rights leaders, human rights leaders, you know, heroes like Tommy Robinson, Laura Loomer, Anne-Marie Waters. We can mention so many people that have been thrown off of Twitter. And yet we can have a long list of who's still on Twitter, by the way. Facebook and Twitter are now consulting with terror-tied, Hamas-tied CAIR, the Council on American Islamic Relations, over who gets banned from their platforms. Now let this sink in. CAIR is an unindicted co-conspirator in the largest terrorism financing case in U.S. history. Just look up CAIR at discoverthenetworks.org. Go to discoverthenetworks.org, where you should always be. It's a project of the David Horowitz Freedom Center. And this is a database of how Islamic supremacists are operating and how the left is operating and how they work together. Discoverthenetworks.org. Just go to the groups section and look up CAIR. You'll learn a few things: that CAIR's parent company, the Islamic Association for Palestine, IAP, was named as a Muslim Brotherhood front group in the Muslim Brotherhood document explanatory memorandum. Now, that document set out the plan of the Muslim Brotherhood to destroy our civilization by our own hands, and it mentioned all the front groups that are engaging in that deception and in that activity of perpetrating our demise and our destruction. This group is the parent company. One of the groups, the IAP, was the parent company of CAIR. So you can just imagine what this means. And Twitter and Facebook are listening to CAIR. Now, let's just look at what happened recently with Laura Loomer, human rights activist standing up against Sharia, fighting for the rights of Muslim women and girls that are being barbarically treated under Sharia law. Now, she gets banned from Twitter. Now we're finding out the story behind that. The Wall Street Journal has reported that CAIR officials complained to Twitter about Laura Loomer. And they were citing a tweet in which she called the anti-Semitic rep, Ilhan Omar, you know, the Democrat in Minnesota. She called her an anti-Semite, and there's, just look up Ilhan Omar, and you'll find out a long list of anti-Semitism there. And so Laura Loomer is just stating a fact, and you know, Omar is also an apologist for Sharia law, and Loomer was permanently banned from Twitter after Loomer did this. Now we know that Zahra Billu, the executive director of CAIR's San Francisco chapter, was quoted in the Wall Street Journal piece as an individual who appears to have very special access to both Twitter and Facebook. Now again, CAIR has ties to Hamas. Now Billu, working for CAIR, has also herself expressed her support for an Islamic caliphate and for Sharia law. She also claims in multiple tweets that ISIS is on the same moral plane as American and Israeli soldiers. She has affirmed that U.S. troops are, quote, engaged in terrorism. Now, this pro-Sharia Islamic supremacist is now deciding what is acceptable discourse and what isn't for Twitter. Laura Loomer, who is fighting for the rights of Muslims and non-Muslims in terms of how they're oppressed and also victims of jihad and Sharia, she's gone off of Twitter. She's banned from Twitter. But it's okay for somebody like Zahra Billu to be on Twitter. It's also okay for her to be a consultant for Facebook, for Twitter, and it's also okay, by the way, for Hezbollah and Hamas to remain on Twitter, while people like Tommy Robinson, who are standing up for the girls that are the victims of Muslim rape gangs in the UK, he's not allowed on Twitter, but Hezbollah and Hamas are allowed on Twitter. Ladies and gentlemen, in this whole milieu, in this whole situation, it's no wonder what the result is. We have these leading social media platforms now, Facebook and Twitter, that are increasingly hostile to the foes of jihad terror and Sharia oppression of women and many other people, minorities, etc. So just let that sink in here. The people that are against jihad and Sharia law, the people that are trying to stand up for the victims of Sharia, trying to stand up for Muslim girls that are the victims of female genital mutilation, the victims of honor killing, the victims of child marriage, those people are kicked off of Facebook and Twitter. They're listening to CAIR. But the members of CAIR and the people who support jihad and Sharia are allowed on these social media platforms. Go to Robert Spencer's site, jihadwatch.org. He talks about all of this. But if you want to learn more about what I'm talking about tonight, Google this. Robert Spencer, Facebook and Twitter consult with CAIR. Read all about it. Very, very disturbing what's happening in our society, my friends. My book, Jihadist Psychopath, deals with this surrender. How our civilization is surrendering to Islamic supremacism. Get my book, you'll understand why our civilization is surrendering and what we can do about it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm speaking at the Beverly Hills Hotel on February 6th about my book. At the Beverly Hills Hotel in Beverly Hills on February 6th about my book. If you're in the area, be there. Go to jamieglazoff.com to get more information about my speaking engagement on February 6th at the Beverly Hills Hotel. There's an announcement right on top of jamieglazoff.com, and you can register for my book event. And I'll be talking about what I just talked about. Very frightening, ladies and gentlemen, our surrender, but there is hope because there is something we can do to save our civilization. I will see you soon on the Jamie Glazov Moment. Good night.